Hi and hello, watch fans, and welcome back to the Glass Onion outside of the pavilion for Geneva Watch Days 2025. We are joined today by Clement Meynier of Amida, and we're going to talk about one of the most striking watch designs to hit the market. It's something that is inspired by the past, but we'll let Clement give us the guided tour through the brand, because this is the first time you've been on the show, isn't that right?
Yeah, right. Thank you for the invitation. It's a real pleasure to be here today.
Good to see you, Clement. Welcome.
So tell us about the watch. Tell us about Amida. Okay, let's go right back. How did the company come to this iteration? Because it's not the first time the Amida name has been in watchmaking.
Yeah, it's a really long story. Amida was founded in 1925. So most people know Amida because of the Digitrend, which was actually launched in 76. But long before, they were doing watches for 60 years. And they started as doing, watches with a Roscoff movement. So which was back in the time, it was a movement that was really used in a lot of different watches. And then they started to specialize working on this movement with, on top of it, a jumping hour module. So you can find through different brands in the 60s, 50s, a lot of jumping hour watches with Amida movement, Amida jumping hour module inside. And then what happened in the 70s during the quartz crisis, I think, a lot of brands started to use the LED display with quartz movement. And Amida said, okay, we know how to make a jumping hour. Could be a digital way of displaying the time. So they got the great idea and innovation to use a prism to make a light reflection display that got patented in 73. And then they're starting to introduce the Digitrend in 76, same year as the Gérard Perregaux casket in the Basel Fair. And that was the kind, in a way, really avant-garde way of designing a watch, because back in the time it was just a way for them to survive and to use their know-how in traditional watchmaking with a design that could reproduce what people wanted to get. And unfortunately for them, that just crashed in the 80s. And a few years later, we managed to get back the brand last year that we revived. And we decided to just reintroduce the Amida Digitrend with the same design, same spirit. And now we come with a new version, which is our own way of seeing the future of Amida with the open sapphire, where you can see everything that goes inside the piece, with the jumping hour module and the prism.
So, Amida has an amazing back catalog. Were you guys adamant it has to be a casquette watch, or did you contemplate to revive a different watch from the collection as a starting point?
No, the idea, and it was also when they launched this Digitrend in 76, the slogan was the new era of digitals. And I think it's still something that resonates right now, 50 years later. And it's going to be the vision that we'll try to pursue with the Amida, so having digital display of time, but still with a traditional watchmaking movement inside.
So tell us about your background in the industry. How did you come to this point?
Yeah, it's kind of a long story, and I started as an engineer, and I started my career working at CERN here in Geneva, which is the European Research for Nuclear Center for Nuclear Research. Having great project, a lot of theory, doing physics and engineering. And at some point, I just wanted to do something, for real, and I started to go to the watchmaking school, doing some proper stuff with my hands. And I started really to get into the watch industry like this. So at first it was just a side project, side hobby that became a passion. And I decided in 2028 to launch my own brand on Kickstarter. And then, long story, but here I am today with Amida.
Rob and I started laughing simultaneously when you said real, because we were looking for sound bites. So imagine you work at CERN. CERN is doing the realest thing of everything, looking for the Big Bang, the Big Bang Theory.
What to do something that matters.
But that could have been also related to relativity theory. So you wanted something mechanical, real.
Yeah, another normal time scale as well, because the project I was working on was started in 1980, and the implementation was forecast in 2120.
Wow.
So
Oh my goodness.
let's
So
say,
you wouldn't
okay,
even see it.
I wasn't sure I would really want to spend my entire career working on something I would never see happening.
Yeah.
No, so that's why
Well, I'll
at
tell you
some
what,
point,
that is a great preparation for dealing with manufacturing delays and bottlenecks. You know, like everything must seem rapid to you. You're like, oh yeah, it's arrived.
6 months to 1 year is quite short time compared to what I used to do before.
What did you absorb of your previous career into watchmaking?
Curiosity. I think it was really what's driving me is to learn and discover new things. So I'm always, keen to discover and to understand how things are working. So I think that's the main reason why I started to be so passionate about watchmaking. Every time I see something, I say, okay, it's something new. How does it work? And I need to understand.
Well, that's a good attitude to have, of course. It's what gives us innovations like this. And the model you've got with you today is particularly arresting because it has this massive glass top. Yeah. Now, I was looking at this last night, I think, and fawning over the shape of a sapphire crystal, and we were wondering, firstly, how you did it, and secondly, how is it attached to the case? Is it glued, or is it some kind of gasket?
Yeah, the sapphire case is glued, and it's machined. It takes like 4 hours of machining with CNC, and then 23 hours of hand polishing. And you need to have really the two surfaces, the inside and outside of the prism must be really parallel. Otherwise, you have some optical distortion, which is not good enough. And this is one of the biggest challenge of this piece is actually the prism that is inside and that reflects the light, because this one has to be super, in terms of optical properties, super clean. And also the accuracy of the polishing and the CNC must be really, really accurate.
So this is chapter 2 basically for you guys. You launched the brand with a closed casket.
Yeah.
This is the open worked.
I would say it's chapter 1.1.
1.1.
Yeah, because we revived the brand with the original design because we wanted to reconnect with the brand, which disappeared 50 years ago almost. So just doing what they did in the past, and now we are slowly starting to get our way of imagining the future.
It's a huge amount of work that's gone into this. I mean, that sapphire crystal alone, how long does it take to make one of those? You said 4 hours on the machine, and then how long? 23
hours of polishing.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's done, I mean, where's that done?
In Asia.
Oh, okay, blimey. Good job, really. Their hourly rate's a bit more affordable than having it done in Geneva, but blimey.
Yeah. It was a great challenge in terms of manufacturing to find the supplier that would accept the challenge first. Only 3 people tried to make a prototype, and at the end only one supplier made the real one properly and the production.
And what's the cost of this piece?
This piece is 4,500 Swiss francs, excluding taxes.
Okay, excluding taxes, that's worth knowing. But I mean,
excluding tariffs as well.
Yeah, of course. It is a great value piece, I would say, like for all that work that's gone into it. Do you intend to have a retail network, or are you just going to sell direct?
No, we want to have a retail. I think it's from the beginning we want to have 50-50, let's say, and we think it's a kind of pieces that need to be seen, need to be handled to really appreciate the finishing first, and then the way it works, because it's really complicated. And I see now it's been a year and a half that we relaunched the brand, and it's a lot of work to explain people how works the reflection, because most of them they really don't get it at first. So you need people to train people to explain to the collector really how it works in a deeper way.
So let's just zero in on exactly what you're talking about there when we talk about a reflection. So as you can see here, this casket, as all caskets, is red from the side of the case, basically. And you've got your numbers that appear to be vertical in those apertures, but they're actually flat. They're flat discs. And so what's happening is they're being reflected by, it's like a prism, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a small periscope,
there,
more or less.
Along that line of the case, just above the numbers there. And then that reflects so that they appear to be standing up. And so as a result, the numbers printed on the discs are italicized, really, aren't they? So that it kind of adjusts.
Yeah, and reversed. It's like
and-
a mirror effect.
Oh yeah, and reversed. I didn't even realize they were reversed.
Because you're holding it upside down.
Maybe it's because I'm holding it into the camera. I'm not sure if they are reversed in the camera, but yeah, maybe they're the right way around in the camera. I can't even tell.
So it was
I've lost
quite
my mind.
A lot of work also on the calculation to get the optical system to be sure that the reflection would be fine and then everything would fit in the window.
How much different is it from the 67 pieces?
67.
No, 76.
76.
Yeah, sorry.
The
The original 76 pieces. How off are you from? They weren't automatic?
They weren't automatic. They were based on the Roscoff movements.
Yeah.
I would say it's not really reliable and quite cheap. The prism was made out of plastic, and the case also was an alloy. So everything was made, I would say, on the cheap way, because back in the time, the idea was just to compete with the quartz movement and LED movement. So they tried to reduce the cost and everything. And we redesigned and we rethought everything to be sure that the reliability would be much better.
Is this Franz Sebusch movement inside as a base?
This one is so proud. The base is so proud Newton.
Oh, it's the Newton. So
yeah.
it's got the balance bridge.
Yeah, which is center. I think it's really nice to have the balance bridge in the center.
So the Newton is about 4.6 millimeters thick.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's a millimeter thicker than the M100, which is Soprod's most generic movement, I would say. There's something on the back of this case which has caught my eye. 5 ATM.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah. Let's try in the
Go.
lake.
Dive into the lake.
Well, you know why I'm asking, because, I mean, now, for some people that haven't encountered glued crystals before, it's nothing to be afraid of. It's a very strong, durable UV glue, is it, that you use to fix it? So it's gonna stay in place, that's fine. But, you know, there are loads and loads and loads of brands that still insist on saying 3 ATM on their watches, whereas this one, which has got a very complex construction and unusual shape, is capable of 5. So that's quite impressive. Kudos.
Yeah. But then I would never recommend to dive or do diving with this watch. It's always a topic to me because, the Alcantara strap is, to me, is not 5 ATM.
Good point.
So you've mentioned Gérard Perregaux with the casquette. They did a 2.0 recently, collabs with Bamford. In modern watchmaking, MB&F had a casquette watch. Today, what? HM5, And today, is there any other modern watch on the market or watch brand that does casquette
recently we
watches?
have seen some Chinese brand that I don't really know that were trying to make casket.
Yeah.
But no.
Nobody
Otherwise,
else.
No.
How's it been received ever since you started?
Really, it was great. Because I think it's really interesting because the vintage Digitrend was actually really popular to the collectors.
Yeah.
A lot of collectors already had the vintage one, so it was something that was still having awareness around the brand and the design, even though the brand disappeared 40 years ago. So when we launched the brand, we got a lot of interest to people who still were aware of it. So it was not like starting from zero.
You call this 1.1?
Yeah.
What's in the pipeline that you can reveal for the brand Amida? Will you go back to round watches? Different watches? Non-Digitrend watches? Is that the ambition?
So far, the plan is still open. We have a lot of ideas, so we are trying to different stuff. But yeah, for sure, I can say at some point we will just make something which is not a casket.
Will you always look at the back catalog, or do you think that you'll push the brand into contemporary terrains where you will make something new?
Yeah, I think we will go in new territories and new horizon. Because in the catalog, we have found really fun stuff, and it was huge. We found the rings with a small movement inside, some really funny stuff, but nothing that is so, in coherent, in line with the Digitrend.
Collab with Bernay.
Yeah, very interesting. Do you know of Bernay?
Yeah, the vintage movement.
Well, the watch manufacturer that focuses on making pendant watches and ring watches and fob watches. We spoke with their owner and leader, Carol, in April at Time to Watches, and they have a whole load of like crazy, like new old stock and brilliant stuff that they're bringing back to life and up to date. So yeah, we could put you in touch. That would be an interesting, interesting collab, wouldn't it? She knows how to get it built, that's for sure.
But yeah, for sure, when you do something like this, it's much better to find a vintage movement, vintage stock, because if you have to redevelop such a small movement now, this would be, I think, a big challenge. And you see, when you see this, you see how much we have lost in the, in the industry in the past 50 years, because they were able to make such a small movement. Now you cannot find this, in the catalog on any supplier, and if you want to do this, it will take quite a long time. Huge investment.
Who makes the module for you?
Now we work in-house. I mean,
in-house?
The module was developed by Bruno, who is also a partner in the Bruno Herbet, who is a partner in the brand. And we have all the components being machine, design, and everything is assembled at the end by our watchmakers.
Crazy. It's a great price for something like that that's got so much about it that's done here as well. And to think that you've got a retail margin or enough of one to aspire to sell 50% through that channel, that's just very well done. Obviously, we should get more watchmakers from CERN. They seem to know what they're doing.
Apparently, and we spoke about one co-founder. There's a third, I believe, is Mathieu.
Yeah, Mathieu.
So how did you link up with Mathieu? Because Mathieu is a fantastic designer.
This is Mathieu Allegre.
Yes.
Mathieu Allegre, the creative mind behind Amida. Yeah, he's a great designer, and before being a designer, he was just a friend to me, because we know each other for, I think, 10 years. And actually, we started to work on the casket project, I would say 6 or 7 years ago, thinking about doing something like this, because I was curious to... First time, I think he introduced the design to me, and I was so curious and struck by the originality of the design and to understand that I immediately get into the project. And 6 years later, thanks to his, I would say, motivation and creativity, we managed to get back the brand and to relaunch it properly.
So if anyone doesn't know Mathieu, then another one of his brands is Lyric.
Yeah.
Right? It's a beautiful watch, really well received, extremely sensitive touch, great colours, lovely hands, beautiful lugs.
I had the honor to work with him.
Yeah.
On the Ace Erin collab, so
Yeah,
I know hands-on how good he is.
Yeah, he's a real deal.
Two different stuff. The Lyric, really classic, really, great pieces, and Amida, it's is good on all kind of territories.
So we jumped in your timeline, because CERN, you started watch brand, and then we jumped to Amida. So what's in between?
In between, there is quite the learning curves. So when I was at CERN, my first brand actually was called Copo, and it was quartz movement, really simple, with métier d'art dials. So because I grew up in a family where both my grandfather were a cabinet maker, so I've always liked the craftsmanship, and I started to make this wood marquetry dial. We use furs as well, stones and stuff like this. And I started this brand. I was just totally new to the watchmaking industry, and my margin was like nothing. So at some point, I was losing money on every sale I was doing. So I said, okay, maybe I have to stop. And then I started to launch another brand, which is De Pancel, which is the automotive-inspired brand with classic design, retro vintage inspired pieces. And that's also how I discovered the Digitrend with Mathieu, because as the Digitrend was named after the driver watch. Yeah. So when I was looking and making some research for automotive-inspired design, I quickly found the Digitrend, and it started the discussion like this at the beginning, 6 years ago.
I think we need to book in a full hour.
We do.
Yeah.
For two reasons. One, it's a very interesting story. And two, my iPhone just blew up because of the heat. And your video's gone, so now everyone's looking at me. Just me. Anyway,
our views will go up now.
we reached a nice natural ending point of the show, and we will definitely get you back on if that's okay, because I think there's a lot of things that we can discuss, and I very much look forward to that conversation. Wishing you all the best, Clement. Thank you for visiting us, and have a great fair.
Thank you.
Thank you.